What is happening? It's episode 5 of season 1 of Startup and Dropout. On today's episode, if you feel like you're stalking somebody, you're doing it right. Now, on the Startup Dropout podcast, I share with you the lessons I've learned going through acquisitions, learning about how to work with some of the biggest brands in the world like Subway and Burger King, building 7-figure businesses, and I'm still learning every single day. So this podcast is the lessons that I've learned in hopes that you'll learn something and I can learn from you. We can all figure this shit out together. Now, as I mentioned, on today's episode, it's if you feel like you're stalking somebody, you're doing it right. So to get into this, I'm playing around with a few ideas for season 2 of Startup Dropout, but I think I'm going to do a whole season on sales and then a whole season on customer. So anyways, I'm going to get into this now, but just keep in mind that I'm going to be able to go deeper into this on an upcoming season. So when you feel like you're stalking somebody, you're doing it right. What the fuck am I talking about? What is the number one rule in business? Make money. Or some might argue it's who you know. But I would say number 1 is make money. Number 2 is who do you know. So how do you make money? You sell. And you sell to people. Now, I'm not going to go into this too deep, but everything is sales. If you're a doctor, you're selling your patients. If you're a lawyer, you're selling your services. Everything is sales. We're all in sales. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm not in sales, I can skip this episode, you're a fucking idiot. You need to keep listening. Anyways, how do you make money? You sell. What do you sell to? People. Guess what people are? They're busy. Now, I keep hearing these stupid-ass stats that goldfish have a 9-second attention span and humans only have a 6-second attention span, which is probably true, but it just annoys me. My point is that people are busy and scattered brain. So guess what? When you call, email, text, DM, Instagram, LinkedIn message, or letters, or any fucking correspondence that we'll talk about, you are interrupting. Let me say that again. When you are reaching out to sell these people, whether channel it is, from calls, emails, text, DMs, you're interrupting. Think about the last time you were doing something, whether that was having fun with friends or in the middle of a work project, and your phone rings. Making sure not to miss something important, you answer, which is another tip I'll share. If you do not recognize the number, do not answer because you will not be prepared what they might ask. Anyways, I digress. You realize after getting this call, when you're having a fun in the middle of a project or having fun with friends, you realize that it's some jackass trying to sell you something or convince you he is Wells Fargo and you have you need to get rid of your whatever account, even though he sounds like the Somali pirates in the movie Captain Phillips with Tom Hanks. This pisses you off, right? Or even after somebody calls you when you're in the middle of something, but you actually want to talk to that person. Even though you want to talk with them, when you hear the phone ringing, you are mad because you got interrupted. Got this weird reference to Punk'd, it's a show with Ashton Kutcher, but that was stupid as hell, so sorry for bringing it up. I'll keep going. Anyways, you get my point. When you're reaching out to somebody, you are interrupting. Now, the best advice for sales, the best technology, a fucking phone. That's at least until Elon Musk gets those microchips ingrained in our brains. Then we might have to delete this episode. But anyways, the phone. This is the best example of interrupting. So once you realize that, you won't be millennial offended, a word I just made up. And remember, yes, I'm a millennial too. That is when a dickhead gives you a call. Guess what? You are the dickhead that just interrupted them. So don't feel sorry for yourself. Shrug that shit off. So again, don't feel sorry when somebody gets mad at you because you're interrupting them, right? So put your ego at the door. You're not important. They're busy. You just interrupted them. Because you know what beats interrupting? There are 3 kryptonites to interrupting. The first, by far, the most important and most potent of the kryptonites is timing. I'll give you an example. I had a client that hated me. We were at a trade show. I could see him out of the corner of my eye, and he'd even come over to say hi to me. But when I called him out of the blue, he happened to be in Miami having a great day, which could have gone the other way if he was in Miami. He's like, why the fuck are you calling me? But I digress. And now I call him. He happened to be in Miami having a great old time, and now he loves me, and he's willing to refer anyone. You know, you just need to keep trying and trying and trying because the only thing that will help with timing is more at-bats. The more you call, the more likely you'll get them at a good time. Now, I'll save most of this for the season of sales that I was talking about, but this is where the art comes in. How often do you call? Well, it all fucking depends. Is the person really busy? Because if the person's really busy, calling them every other day isn't too bad of an idea because he'll forget you called because of the million other things he has going on. So just keep trying. But what if it's little old grandma sitting on her porch all day trying to find kids to bitch at about how stupid they are and how they suck compared to her day? Well, if you call her every other day, you're fucked. So it's all about feeling out who is you're trying to talk to. Now, one trick that I learned from Tim Ferriss is don't call between 9 and 5. Call before 9 a.m., but not before 7:30 a.m. their time, and after 5 p.m., but not after 7:30 p.m. Why? Because you'll get them when they're not busy, so you're less likely to interrupt them. So how often do you call? It all depends, but persistence wins everything. Now, the second kryptonite is value. Now, again, I'm going to dive deeper into the sales season, which I'm thinking is going to be season 2. But it is all about value. If you have a pulse and you use social media and even think the word business, you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is. I owe a lot to Gary, and I've learned from him a great deal. He preaches jab, 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 right hook. Or in other words, give, then ask. If you start by asking, you're the dick that makes a move on the girl in the Starbucks instead of just asking to give her a chat. Don't be that guy. Give, then ask. So what's in it for them? You should be asking yourself, if I was them, what about my solution would they be most interested in? And remember, they're busy, so make it clear what the value is and make sure that you continue to call to get the timing. One hack is, when sending emails to people, always send the draft to your iPhone. Because what happens is these people are going to read and, better yet, skim your emails on their phone. So you need to do the same and make sure that your message is clearly delivered. Now, the third kryptonite is the medium. Now, I would say the most intrusive way of contacting a salesperson would be in person. Hey, random fucker, buy my widget. But I guess the second would be the phone, then email, then social, then letters. So keeping in mind that the trick to solving the timing is more at-bats. A baseball team has a whole lineup of players with different intensities and abilities. You need to equip your sales outreach with a lineup of calls, emails, social, and letters. You see, social is a great way to get them with their guard down. What do I mean by that? Well, in the old world of sales, the salesperson was the information gatekeeper. You had to talk with the sales to learn. I'll give you an example. Let's say you wanted to buy a car in 1950. Did you Google that car and what all the horsepower was and everything? No. You went to go talk to a salesperson who had that information, right? Now, today, you're going to Google that car. Shit, you're probably going to buy it from Carvana without even leaving your desk. So now, customers have 80% or 60 to 80% of the decision about their product already made before they talk to a salesperson. So, people are now looking what to buy or kicking tires on Instagram while their kids are running around in the background on a Sunday evening with a box of pizza that has room temperature at this point. See, if you slide into that Instagram with some content or slide into their DMs, you may catch their timing when they're off their game or when they take off their cape. Okay, all right. I think I went a little overboard with the kryptonite and the baseball analogies. But if you listen to me more and more, I know I go overboard, so you'll get used to it on the regs with these analogies. So anyways, when you structure your outreach to get in touch with that target customer, there's one more key. Major key alert. Secure the bag. DJ Khaled and all the other dumb shit he says. I love you, DJ Khaled. You must be freakishly obsessed with follow-up. Freakishly obsessed with follow-up. And I feel like I said that wrong, so I'll say it again. Freakishly obsessed with following up. This is where, when you feel like you're stalking them, you're doing it right. You need to learn about them in all ways. Like you're a fucking KGB secret spy. Find their Instagram. Figure out what sports they like. Anything you can do to add value to them when their cape is off, do it. Call their assistant. Figure out what they like a certain thing or they dislike a certain thing. If I was to show you the outreach that we did to land the Subway or the Burger King account, you would freak out. Keep in mind, these are brands that had the budget, they had a problem that they recognized that needed to be solved, and there was over 24 phone calls, almost 100 emails, countless LinkedIn requests and messages. Now stay tuned for the sales season for more tips and details on this. So, if you take away one thing from this episode, be persistent. Persistent. You are interrupting So the more at-bats you have, the more likely you'll get them at the most valuable kryptonite, which is timing. So plan out your outreach. And don't be butthurt about interrupting. You are interrupting, so don't be such a pussy about it. And follow up, fucking follow up. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Hope you found some value. Tell your friends. If you like what you heard, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. I want to get better every day. Let's learn together. Cheers.